Hello, everyone. Welcome to Barca News. It is October 11th, 2024, and Lamine Yamal has set yet another record. Also, Barcelona have been dealt a blow in their lawsuit against Zenit St. Petersburg. And finally, Real Madrid have been operating their stadium with expired licenses. We have a lot to discuss. So let's begin. Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Mo. This is the Barca News, the live podcast where not only do we discuss Barcelona news, but also get to interact with you lovely people in the chat section by reading your comments out loud, answering your questions, and getting the discussion going. For those of you who'll be watching when this podcast ends, I will be putting timestamps in the description and chapters in the timeline in case you do want to skip through that discussion. Now, of course, the podcasts are on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, usually 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Today, we're starting a little bit late because I did have to work late. But the important thing is that we're here. We're ready to discuss Barcelona news. So let's begin. But first, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment. If you're looking for any Barcelona jerseys or merchandise, make sure to Goal Kids, Kit Bag, or Fanatics. And if you are looking to place any sports bets, make sure to bet us. All links are in the description. If you click on them, you get some pretty cool specials, deals, offers, discounts, whatever you want to call them. You get them if you click on the links. All right, let's begin with the news because, ladies and gentlemen, Spanish national team have announced that our own Lamine Yamal will be wearing the number 10 jersey. Now, as you know, Lamine Yamal has been called up during this FIFA international break to play in the garbage, made-up bullshit trophy, which is the Nations League, which we all know it's nothing more but a money grab by UEFA and FIFA. But I digress. That's a separate point. But Lamine Yamal has been called up to play with Spain against Denmark and Serbia. And Spain have announced that Lamine Yamal will be wearing the legendary number 10 jersey in those matches. Of course, this jersey this number was initially made legendary by Pelé, and it was also worn by some pretty legendary players like Maradona, Messi, Zinedine Zidane, Ronaldinho, you name it. And now our own star, Lamine Yamal, will be wearing that number 10 during this garbage, made-up bullshit of a trophy, which is called the European Nations League. Now, Lamine Yamal was touted to wear the number 10 at Barcelona, but he ended up opting out for the number 19 jersey, leaving the number 10 to Ansu Fati, which I think was a pretty cool move. But I have no doubts that Ansu Fati will eventually inherit Lionel Messi's number 10 jersey at Barcelona because he deserves it. Now, speaking of Lamine Yamal, he has broken a record because he cannot stop breaking records. That's his thing. He should be called Lamine Record Yamal because now our La Masia graduate has officially become the highest valued Spanish player in history. Now, Lamine Yamal's valuation just went up to 150 million euros, and with that, he has become the highest valued Spanish player ever. Not now, not in the last 10 years, no, ever. Highest valued Spanish player ever. Lamine Yamal at only 17 years old. Now, when Lamine first debuted, his market value was 25 million euros, which was already pretty high for a 16-year-old who had just debuted. He hadn't done anything. He had just debuted, and he was already worth 25 million euros. That's how good he is. His valuation then jumped to 60 million euros. Then it jumped to 120, doubling within a few months. And now it has gone up to 150 million euros, which again makes him the highest valued Spanish player in all of history. Now, there are only 4 players that are valued more than Lamine Yamal, which are Vinicius Jr. and also Haaland, both valued at 200 million euros. I don't know how the hell is Vinicius valued at 200 million euros, but whatever, that's a separate conversation. And then Jude Bellingham and Kylian Mbappe, which are both valued at 180. So not only is Lamine Yamal the highest valued player in Spanish player in history, but he's also the 5th highest valued player right now in the entire world. And to be honest, I don't know if I'm being biased because I'm a Barcelona fan, but between Haaland, Vinny, Mbappe, and Jude, I would take Lamine Yamal over those players any day of the week. Now, more news, and this is the last bit of news in this beginning segment, as I always like to bunch up 3 short bits of news. But the last bit of news in this segment is that the opposition to Joan Laporta have been meeting, having lunches, having dinners, having special meetings, because they are considering joining forces to oppose Joan Laporta in the upcoming election in 2026. Now, there are currently several candidates who want to oppose Joan Laporta in that election. One of them is Camproví, who we talked about in the past. His father and his grandfather were Barcelona presidents. He has started a party called Som un Clam, where he's looking to oppose Joan Laporta. There's other members or other people who have the intention of declaring their candidacy as well, including, of course, Victor Font. And they are now all meeting because they consider that none of them alone could beat Joan Laporta. So instead, they want to join forces and kind of like come in as a block and have like one guy represent them in order to, collect as much votes as possible to try to beat Joan Laporta in the 2026 election. Now, this has not happened yet. They have not reached an agreement. There have been a lot of meetings, dinners, lunches, etc. The only one who's the most opposed to this idea is Victor Font, because, of course, he ran against Laporta and he ended up in second place. So he believes that, he can beat Laporta on his own. So he's the only one who's kind of opposed to this idea, but he's not completely ruling it out. So we're going to have to see what comes out of these meetings. But it looks like, well, people are afraid. People are scared. They think they cannot beat Laporta, so much so that they're all looking to join forces and just run as one contender, I guess, because it would be a bunch of them, but only one would be able to run. But they're all looking to join forces to try to defeat Joan Laporta in 2026. And of course, how convenient, right? When the club is doing much better financially, when the club is getting out of debt, when the project is starting to take off, when our stadium is about to get built, when all of Barcelona's problems are starting to disappear, all of a sudden everybody wants to be president. Because, of course, who doesn't want to be president of a club that's doing much, much better? But my question is, where were all these candidates when Barcelona was in the hole, when Barcelona was on the verge of bankruptcy, when Barcelona Stadium was falling apart, when Barcelona was absolutely pathetic on the football field? They were nowhere to be found. But now that things are looking up, everybody wants to be a Barcelona president. How convenient. All right, let's do the chat section. Let's read the comments in the chat section, and then we will talk about the lawsuit that the courts just dismissed against Zenit St. Petersburg. Eric C says, yo back. John Mer says, yes, first time live here from the Netherlands. All right, welcome, my friend. Welcome to the live stream. I hope you join us more often, and that's pretty cool. I think you're the first person from the Netherlands to comment. King City FX says, hey, Mo, in Florida without lights or power, but I'm here on my phone. Wow, that's pretty amazing that you're doing that, taking the time to watching this live stream. That really means a lot to me. But in all seriousness, please be safe, stay indoors, follow the recommendation of the authorities in your area. I will be praying for yours and everyone's safeties in Florida. For those of you who don't live in the U.S. and are not aware of this, but Hurricane Milton, an incredibly strong hurricane, I think they're saying is the strongest in history, is right now pummeling Florida. It's not looking good. So my thoughts and prayers to everybody who's in Florida and everybody who will be affected by the hurricane. Please stay safe. And again, stay indoors and follow the recommendations of the authorities in your area, because they know best. They're monitoring the situation and they know how to keep you safe. Jelmer says, I love the show. Thank you, my friend. Thank you. I appreciate your comment and I appreciate you watching. Nicholas Lewis says, Mo, Bisca Barça, my brother. Bisca Barça. Amen to that, my friend. And Mohammed Cisse says, hi, Mo. Any news about Lucas Roman, the new Messi? I wouldn't call him the new Messi. He's a promising player. He's still at Barca Athletic. He had a decent season last season, but I would not call him the new Messi or the new Messi or the new Messi in 20 years. Like, nowhere even close. Rak Abdul says, hey, Mo, watching you live in Ghana. What do you think about Fermin Lopez at the left wing position? Because he killed it last season under Xavi. He did do well in the left wing, but that's not his specialty, right? That's not really his position. I prefer that players play in the position where they are the strongest, right? Can Fermin play in that position? Sure. Can he do well? Sure. But he does much better in the attacking midfield. Kind of like Araujo, right? He could play in the right back, but what's his strongest position is the center back. So I always prefer that players play in their strongest position where they play the most. Just because they can do well in other positions doesn't mean they should play there. They should always play in whatever position they can perform best. All right, let's get back to the news, and then we will do more comments. But let's talk about Malcom. And in case you don't remember who Malcom is this 27-year-old right winger, Brazilian right winger, which Barcelona signed back in July of 2018 from Bordeaux. How do you like my French? But Barcelona signed Malcom from Bordeaux in 2018. In July 2018, he didn't have much playing time, and eventually he was shipped off a year later to Zenit St. Petersburg for around 40 million euros. And the feeling is that it was done for an economic reason, right? Back then, Barcelona were in huge debt. They were really broke thanks to Bartomeu. So the feeling was always that Barcelona ended up selling Malcom to Zenit for financial reasons. They sold them for 40 million euros to the Russian club. Now, Barcelona filed a lawsuit against Zenit. I think it was a few months ago, maybe at the end of last year. I made a video about it when the lawsuit was first filed. But the reason why the lawsuit was filed was because Barcelona alleged that Zenit St. Petersburg owed Barcelona around 600,000 euros. The exact figure is 400. Oh, I guess nearly 500. It was 490,000 euros, so nearly $500,000 that Zenit owed Barcelona. And the reason why Barcelona alleged that they were owed that money is because a Champions League clause that existed in Malcom's contract. Now, when Barcelona transferred Malcom to Zenit St. Petersburg, they put a clause in his contract that every time Zenit St. Petersburg qualified to the Champions League and Malcom had played at least half of the matches in the Russian league, that Zenit St. Petersburg would have to pay Barcelona a certain sum of money. Now, in the 2022-2023 season, Zenit did qualify to the Champions League, and Malcom did play at least half of the matches in the Russian league. However, Zenit were not allowed to play in the Champions League because of the war, the Russian-Ukrainian war. Remember, when that war broke out, UEFA kind of banned all Russian teams from participating in European competitions. So even though Zenit had qualified, they didn't get to play in the Champions League because of the Russian-Ukrainian war. Now, Zenit decided not to pay Barcelona the bonus that they were supposed to pay them for qualifying to the Champions League because their argument was, well, yeah, we qualified, but we didn't get to play in the championship, in the Champions League. Therefore, we don't owe you anything. Barcelona, on the other hand, said, no. The clause says that if you qualify, you have to pay me. I don't care if you played or not, you qualified. So therefore, you owe me those 490,000 euros. Zenit refused to play, so Barcelona brought a lawsuit against them in the Court of Arbitration for Sports, CAS. However, now the Court of Arbitration have decided to rule in favor of Zenit, saying that Zenit does not owe Barcelona any money since they didn't get to play the Champions League, even though they did qualify for it. So definitely a blow for Barcelona because they will not be able to get those $500,000. Of course, this is not doesn't mean it's the end of it. Barcelona could always appeal that decision. The arbitration court, that's just the first level of resolution. There's always like higher courts. We don't know if Barcelona are going to appeal this decision or not. We don't know if Barcelona are going to pursue this case more or not. After all, this decision came out today. We'll see what happens, but just know that the arbitration court, has ruled in favor of Zenit, saying they don't owe Barcelona that €500,000 for qualifying to the Champions League. All right, let's get back to the comment section, and then we will talk about Real Madrid and their expired licenses. Man, the scandals do not stop with Real Madrid. Just one after another. All right, let's see. Where did we leave off? Fabrice says, excuse me, I think Laporta has been doing great. He puts the club first before anyone. I think that's the reason he didn't even renew Messi. So those opposition are just fighting for the wrong reason. I agree. I think Laporta is doing a great job with his board as far as rebuilding the club. I think as far as the sporting arena, Laporta has made a lot of mistakes, which that's why I'm a firm believer that there should be a wall. There should be separation where the president, look, focus on running the club financially, getting the sponsorship during business deals, etc., and leave the professionals to handle the sporting side. Unfortunately, Laporta is a person who likes to be involved in anything. We've seen how there have been a lot of people who have quit and he's refused to replace them because he just wants to be in everything. I don't like that about Laporta at all, but I do agree that he has been doing a great job rebuilding the club, from getting, over 30 new sponsors, from cutting expenses, from getting rid of a lot of the big contracts, from pushing through the Spotify Camp Now deal. I mean, Barcelona are bouncing back, and it's all thanks to Joan Laporta. I just wish he would leave the sport in the area to the professionals. Let them handle it. They know what they're doing. Stop trying to meddle in everything. But yes, the opposition are definitely scared because they look at the club. The club has come a long way in such a short period of time, by the way. No one talks about how incredible is how much progress we've seen in only 3 years. Remember, Barcelona were under bad management for over 10 years. And usually it takes longer to rebuild than to destroy. So if you destroy a club for 10 years, you expect the recovery to be at least 20. But yet Laporta and his board of directors are pulling a miraculous recovery in only 3 years. That's incredibly, incredibly short. So of course the opposition are worried, and now they're looking to join forces because they know that each one of them on their own are not going to be able to do anything. And Kara King says, good night, Mo. Keep up the good work. Thank you, my friend. Good night to you too. And Anthony says, yo, Mo, what's up, my guy? Living a dream, living a dream. And Ampuller says, hello, Mo. Hope we can beat Real and Bayern. I hope so too, my friend. That will be the two biggest tests of Hansi Flick since he took charge of Barcelona, because so far we haven't really faced off against big clubs. We've had some tough opposition, but we haven't had really big clubs. So Real Madrid and Bayern Munich, 2 matches in 1 week, will be the biggest test for Hansi Flick and his men. And of course, we hope that it all goes well and then we can pull off both victories. A1 says the players played in their position would never have found the rejuvenated Rafinha and Koundé. Correct? But remember, that's the exception, not the rule. I see people always confusing that. Not just in Barcelona, not just in football, in just life in general. They look at a few exceptions and they think that's the rule. Oh, look, well, that one guy did that one thing. Yeah, sure. But generally, that's not how it works. Like, yeah, sure, there's that one guy who won the lottery. Doesn't mean you're going to win it, right? Those are the exceptions, not the rule. Please remember that, not only when you're talking about Barca or sports, just when talking about life in general. And that's, I don't know if it's a generational thing or just human nature, but I see it all the time in life, day in, day out, at work, at home, with friends, with family, people just looking at exceptions and talking about them as it's the rule. Oh, look, well, that one guy did that one. Yeah, sure. But what about the other 100 people who didn't do that? Right? Same here. Those are the exceptions, not the rules. Just because there's a handful of players who can play out of position and be better doesn't mean that the rest can't. Look at the other million examples where that failed, right? All right, let's see. Tamba says, hi, Mo. Good evening. Thank you for your good work. Tamba Jaya from Sierra Leone. Thank you, my friend, for watching and from your comment. Tishan says, I worry every day about Lamine's safety, and anytime I hear Bayern, my heart jumps. I hope and pray we beat Bayern and Madrid to regain our respect back in the sporting world. I agree, my friend. I too worry about Lamine Yamal. He has been playing a lot, but Flick, if there's anything about Flick and his staff, is I trust them with the player's health. And if they've been playing him and rotating him the way they are, is because they think that that's the best way. So let's hope he's in good hands. And as far as Bayern and Real Madrid, yes, I hope we win those 2 matches. Like you said, we really need to, make our comeback and let the world know that we are back, ladies and gentlemen. We're no longer going to be the pariahs of the Champions League or the European competitions, that we are back. All right, let's get back to the news, because we do have to talk about stadiums. And this segment will include 2 stadiums, starting with our own, our home, our fortress, the Spotify Camp Nou, because apparently today a big fight broke out. Seems like 20 workers got into a huge brawl where they were beating up each other, using sticks, using tools, just pounding on each other, and 6 of them ended up in the hospital. We don't know the exact reason of why the fight broke out, but it seems like it was a fight between Albanian and Romanian workers. I don't know if that's something that had to do with it. I don't know if there's some cultural beef between the two nations, but we know that the workers were Albanian and Romanian. 20 of them got into a huge brawl. 6 of them got injured, and of course, all 20 of them have been fired. So hopefully that doesn't cause any delay. I don't think it will. After all, the Spotify Camp now has 1,750 employees working on it. Well, I guess it's now 1,730 employees, not 50, since 20 of them are fired now. But there's a total of 1,750 employees working, over 5,700 contracts that Barcelona had to sign to get not only the Spotify Camp Nou renovated, but the whole Espai Barca. As you know, the Espai Barca project doesn't only include the Spotify Camp Nou, it also includes all the facilities around it, like the Palau Blaugrana, which is where the hockey team, indoor soccer team, indoor football team, I think the volleyball team and the basketball team all play there. So that's going to be renovated. The arena too, the buildings around it, the campus, the offices, everything's getting renovated, not just the stadium. And the Espai Barca project is, of course, costing Barcelona 1.45 billion euros, a lot of money, a lot of employees, a lot of contract, and 20 of them are now gone because, they decided to get into a huge brawl. Now, this is the second time a fight has broken out between workers. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if it's because the current shape of the Spotify Camp Nou, where it's like completely open. I don't know if the workers think they're at the Colosseum in Rome and they want to act like gladiators. I don't know what's going on, but something needs to happen because, this is the second big fight that breaks out. Obviously, this is not Barcelona's fault. These employees were employed by a subcontractor, which was employed by the actual contractor, right? Barcelona hired the Turkish company Limac to build to renovate the stadium. And Limac, of course, hires subcontractors, all kinds of companies to do electrical work, cement work, foundation work, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So these are employees of a subcontractor. So Barcelona has no say in that. But I think Barcelona needs to, talk to Limac, talk to somebody, be like, what the hell's going on? Why are their brawls breaking out all the time? But something needs to be done because this is, again, the second time that this happens. Now, speaking of stadiums, we do have to talk about another stadium under renovation, and of course is the Santiago Bernabeu, which has been an absolute mess. It has been delayed several months. It's costing Real Madrid double of what they initially anticipated. They were saying 700 million at first. Now they have spent 1.5 billion already, and they're not even done. Not only is the stadium delayed, not only they've already spent double, but the stadium is still not done. And people are complaining that it looks nothing like the renders. It looks nothing like the models that they had showed the public. There's also a problem with noise because the new Bernabeu is not only going to host matches, it's also going to host concerts. And they were supposed to soundproof the stadium because there's a lot of houses around. They haven't been able to soundproof it. Not only that, but people are even complaining. Experts are saying that it's actually impossible to soundproof the stadium. So it's never going to be soundproof. As a result, there's been a lot of noise complaints from the neighbors. They've actually had to cancel concerts at the Bernabeu because of the noise complaints. We also know that Madrid are now involved in litigation over the parking garages that they're building under the stadium, where the neighbors have brought a lawsuit to stop the construction because it's disrupting everybody. It's adding more traffic. It's an absolute disaster. But to add to all of these disasters, it's been revealed now, because the neighbors have brought a complaint, have filed a lawsuit against Madrid, that Real Madrid have been operating the stadium since 2001 without a sporting license and without a concert license. Both licenses expired in 2001. And yes, you do need a license from the city to run a stadium. That's a sporting license, just like when you open a bar, you need an alcohol license. Just when you open, a restaurant and you need a food license. Well, when you have a stadium, you need a sporting license. That license expired in 2001. So for the past 23 years, Real Madrid have been holding matches illegally, against the rules. Insanity. Now, as far as the concert license, same thing. You need a license. Hey, stop it. Sorry, that was my dog. For the concerts, you also need a license to hold it. Same thing. License expired since 2001, which begs the question. How have Real Madrid been allowed to do this for 23 years? It's a very long time. This is not like, oh, my license expired a few months ago. Sorry, I forgot to renew it. No, 23 years. No excuses whatsoever. I'm not surprised it's been going on for this long. But can you imagine if we found out that Barcelona were operating the Spotify Camp Nou without licenses? It'd be an absolute scandal. It'd be on every headline, newspaper, TV show, you name it. But because it's Real Madrid, oh well, no big deal, right? Another thing that brings to mind is this the end of Florentino Perez's influence? Because remember, for 23 years, no one said anything. Now this has happened. It's also the lawsuit that was brought to stop the construction of the underground parking lots. We found out about the scandal with the basketball player. A lot of things that never would have came to surface, all of a sudden they're coming up to surface, which begs the question, is Florentino Perez losing influence in Madrid? I'll let you guys debate it. Let me know in the chat section or in the comment section. All right, let's get back to the comments, and then we will talk about Pau Cubarsi's interview, which was a pretty cool one. All right, let's see. That's the last comment I read. So let's read Beast, who says, "Hey Mo, what happened to Parriego and the other guys who Barca signed for the summer? 2 prospects." Nothing. They signed them. They're playing. Everything is good. All right, let's see. Kasim says, "Hi Mo, I haven't heard anything about the 2 players signed from Ghana for a while. Watching you from Gambia." I think you're talking about Aziz and David Oduro. They both have Barca Athletic. Last I heard that they were still processing their work permits, their visas from the Spanish government, and that's why they hadn't played official matches yet. I'm not sure. I haven't checked, but I guess I'll have to check and find out what's going on. Anyone says, "You look at Man United, they make excuses all the time about board of directors, and look at how far we've come with more things against us. Our club is too big to stay down forever." Amen, my friend. And Barcelona News says, "Wojciech Szczesny singles out new Barcelona, hoping to make this his Barcelona debut, having signed last week on deal until the end of the season. He's enjoying his early days in Catalonia." Yes, he is. And they're saying he could debut against Sevilla because right now, apparently, he's impressing during training sessions. And initially, the club's message was, our goalkeeper is Iñaki Peña. We trust Iñaki Peña. Wojciech, he's coming to help. But now, if you ask people at the club, they're saying, we don't know. We'll see what Flick decides. So it's no longer, it's Iñaki. Now it's like, we don't know, which signals that probably Wojciech is impressing during trainings, and we could see him pretty soon taking the starting position away from Iñaki. Fitzroy says, "Hey Mo, I believe we can beat Madrid and Bayern. We just need to have faith in the team. All I'm worried about is the rough tackling in those games and our players getting injured." Look, if the team plays the way they've been playing, with the same identity, with the same ideas, I think we have a good chance of beating both. Right? Now, anything can happen in football. Sometimes you play best and you still lose. But I know we can compete now. With the squad, with the current squad, with the way the squad is playing, with Flick's tactics, we can compete against Bayern and Madrid. If you would have asked me last season, I would have been like, I don't think we can compete. Hopefully we win, but I don't think we can compete. Now, I know we can compete. Now, whether we win or not, that's another conversation, because again, sometimes you compete, sometimes you play better and you still lose. Hopefully we win, but I know for sure that we can compete with both clubs. Tappan says, "Beating Bayern is more important than Clásico. Bayern has been holding something over us for a long time. Beating them will make the WOW realize that Barca is finally back. Clásico is 2 legs." I wouldn't say it's more important. Nothing's going to be more important than a Clásico. A Clásico is the biggest rivalry in the history of football. But yes, it is important to beat Bayern because, yes, they have humiliated us several times. And it's important to get, our honor, our pride back, right? But I wouldn't say it's bigger than the Clásico. Nothing's bigger than the Clásico. And Tap is, already read this. And Henry says, "This is Real Madrid scandal no one will talk about." Of course not. But again, not surprising. All right, let's do the last bit of news and then we'll do more comments, I promise. But let's talk about Pau Cubarsi because he just gave an interview. Of course, international breaks, FIFA international breaks, there's always a lot of interviews. This is not a lot of club action or transfer action or anything like that. Then a lot of players start giving out interviews. They're out with their national teams, whatever. So of course you see a lot of interviews. Pau Cubarsi is the latest one to give an interview, and he was asked about what is his goal as a player, and this is what Cubarsi had to say. We'll make this bigger. My goal is to have Puyol's personality and leadership, both on and off the pitch. He is a leader who tries to help his teammates, and if things go bad, he encourages them. And if things go good, he pushes the team. For me, he is a role model. So Pau Cubarsi's goal is to become like Carles Puyol, a leader like Carles Puyol. And honestly, I have to say, and this might be blasphemous, but I honestly think Cubarsi has what it takes to become better than Carles Puyol. Not now, of course. He's still young, 17. He just started. But I think he has what it takes to become better than Carles Puyol. I don't know. What do you guys think? I know it sounds blasphemous because Puyol is our eternal captain, but I see Cubarsi having what it takes to become better. You know why? Because I feel like Cubarsi is a mix or a hybrid of Puyol and Piqué. Because Puyol was that strong defensive presence in the back line who no one could get past him. And on the other hand, you have Piqué, who was the one who was great on the ball, right? The guy with the great passes from behind, the guy with the great build-up from behind. And Cubarsi has both. Cubarsi is as strong defensively, but also is great on the ball, is great with the forward passes, is great with the build-up. So I think Cubarsi has what it takes to be better because, again, he's a hybrid of both Puyol and Piqué. I don't know if you guys agree or not. Let me know in the chat section or in the comment section. But then Cubarsi was also asked about Íñigo's role as far as, in his life, any advice that Íñigo might have given him or anything like that. And this is what Cubarsi had to say. In regards to the advice, Íñigo Martinez told him to be myself and to try to play with what I know and to be calm to increase my confidence. I have shared the position with Íñigo since the beginning of the season. He is someone who helps you on and off the pitch, and having him by my side gives me confidence and security. So Pau Cubarsi confirming all these reports we've been hearing about the past few weeks, that Íñigo is not only a leader on the field, as we've seen him when he's organizing a defense, but he's also a leader off the field because he's constantly helping the players in the locker room, helping his teammates, and he's taken Pau Cubarsi under his wing to help him make him a better defender. And Pau Cubarsi himself confirming this. Remember, we heard these reports from people close to the club. Then Hansi Flick confirmed it himself, and now Pau Cubarsi's confirming it. So this is not rumors. This is not speculation. Íñigo is a true leader on and off the field, and he is helping Pau Cubarsi grow his game. Now, finally, of course, the question that all these players have been asked, the difference between Xabi and Hansi Flick. And this is what Cubarsi had to say. I will always see Xabi as a coach who made my debut, a coach who helped me a lot and was always by my side, a great person on and off the pitch. I am very happy with what he has done for me. Now, talking about the comparison, he said, they are two very good coaches. They always have a good relationship with the players and they want us to do well. And I have a good relationship with them. Then, in regards to Hansi Flick, Pau Cubarsi said, from the beginning, he gave us a winning mentality, and we are very happy to have him with us. They are two different coaches. We were training with Xabi too, but due to circumstances, things didn't go well with Xabi, and now we are very happy with Flick. Now, I really like the statements of Pau Cubarsi about the two coaches. I think it shows a level of maturity, and also, it was a stark difference from previous players who were like, oh, things are much better now with Flick. We train more. It's more intensity. We're more physical, blah, 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 blah. Flick, Cubarsi's like, hold on a minute. Look, Xabi was great. We did great with him. He gave me my debut. I'll always remember that. Now he's not here. Now we have Flick, and I'm also happy with him, right? So complimenting his current coach without having to put down his previous coach, right? Complimenting the both, saying both were great coaches. Xabi's not here now. Flick is. And he's happy with Flick. So I really like the statements by Pau Cubarsi. And with that, let's do the comment section. All right, let's see. Henry says that Mafia Club can scream Negreda all they want, but this is a scandal. Absolutely agree 100%. And that is called karma. Karma, my friends. Everything you do comes back. All right, let's see. Nima says this year Clásico and the Bayern match are kind of the same importance. Fair enough. But again, El Clásico is always going to be the biggest rivalry. Rex says Barca can't get to the top with a 36-year-old leading our attack. Lewandowski don't score or impress in big matches. Barca should buy Victor Osimhen from Napoli. Are we watching the same matches? Because Lewandowski has 10 goals in 9 matches so far. He's a top leader, top scorer in La Liga. Just saying. Osimhen, offside man. Do we really want a guy who's always got an offside? Not to mention his antics. Anyways. Octavio Martinez says he already had Mbappe in his pocket. Cubarsi, absolutely. We all remember that match against PSG. Imagine Mbappe, greatest player ever, best player in the world. And then Cubarsi, during his first season in first division, pocketed him, completely canceled him out. Can you imagine when Cubarsi hits, I don't know, 25 in his prime? Not even 25 in his prime. Think about Cubarsi when he's 20. All right, let's see. Aloside says, hey, Mo, hope you're well. I hope none of our players will get injured in the international break. I hope so too, my friend. And Ahmad says, to play Munich and play Madrid after 2 days is a serious challenge for the club, but we can overcome both with success with our key players like Gabi, De Jong, Olmo, Ansu, and Fermin are 100%. I agree with you. It's crazy. It's 2 or 3 days apart to go play a huge Champions League match against a very, very tough opponent, which is Bayern Munich, and then 3 days later to play against Real Madrid and Clásico is absolute insanity. This calendar is absolute insanity. But the silver lining, they have the same problem, right? It's not like we're playing these 2 matches and Bayern and Madrid are just chilling at home, right? They too going to be playing 2 matches within 3 days. So at least if you want to look at it that way, you know. Yamidora says, hey, Mo, we both hate that Ferran is injured, but I'm low-key happy he won't play. He had never taken his chances. I'm never happy about any player getting injured, no matter how useful or useless I feel, because at the end of the day, you need all your players to rotate, and to have one less player to rotate affects those who are useful. You might think, oh, Ferran is useless, right? But without him rotating, the useful players cannot rest. And if you can't rest your useful players, that's a problem, right? Because you risk injury. Fabrice says, Cubarsi, currently the best defender in the squad. I like him a lot. He doesn't lose the ball. He's a great, great defender. I agree with you, my friend. And Johnny says, hey, Mo, a prediction for both Real and Bayern. We will win both games by 3-1 score. I hope so. I hope that Real Madrid is another manita, another 5-0. That'd be amazing, a 5-0 in a Bernabeu. Which, by the way, it's technically possible. I'm not dreaming here. Have you seen how Barcelona are playing compared to what Madrid are doing? I mean, Madrid are in shambles. They're playing pathetic football. But, of course, they do have a lot of artillery in the front, so they could catch us in an offside. In counterattack. Technically, they could do some damage, but I mean, I wouldn't be too surprised if Barcelona run a gambit on them. Let's see. Do not touch says injured suck because we can sell him, and now it's harder. I mean, we can't sell anyone until the winter transfer market, right? Until January. Iraq says Ansu Fati's style so unique. No Barca player in attack has Fati's style. And Best Boy says, hi Mo, is Lamine from Gambia. I have subscribed to the channel for so long, and I'm very happy for good job that you are doing. Thank you, my friend, for subscribing, for your comment, for watching. And with that, we will end the podcast. I will be doing another video because there's a lot of news today. So I will be uploading a video about an hour or 2. So stay tuned to the channel. Thank you for tuning in to the podcast, for your likes, your comments, your subscriptions. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment. And as always, peace, class.